welcome. Hopefully you didn't have this up too loud. I just felt like scaring you. Welcome to episode 82. It is a week late and $1 short. I was planning on doing one. I just came back from a 10-week vacation. I was actually going to do one before the vacation, but that would mean doing the last podcast and this podcast pretty much back to back. And I didn't really have that much to talk about. And I know I keep saying we're going to be kind of revamping some of the segments, and that was not the time to do it. So that will be next week, and I am pumped. I wonder how many weeks I could say next week before people are just like, I don't know, surprised when it happens. I think next week will be the week for sure. It is August 1st. It is early as heck in the morning, and I am fully recovered from vacation. It was a nice 10-day trip, and I'm excited to tell you all about the silly things that have happened. And I grew up by a whole year since the last time we spoke, because it was my birthday on July 26th. And I turned 28, and I'm old. Not that old, I guess. So a few things. If you haven't already subscribed to this podcast on iTunes, Google Podcasts, whatever the heck that's called. It's on Spotify, iHeartRadio, pretty much wherever you get yo music. It's here, even on YouTube. And here we are. Numbers have been great. Not that it matters, but a lot of you have been listening to this all the way through and sending some very interesting text messages and voicemails, which we are going to get to in a little bit. So first off, before I left for vacation, I did a podcast. I guess I was a guest on a podcast called Cinema Improv with Justin and I want to say Peter, but that's not his name. But Justin's friend, really nice dude. It's a really nice, interesting new concept for a podcast where they bring a guest on and the three of us try to just make up a make up a movie and the plot and characters and everything like that. And it's a nice little improv game that we did, and a lot of deaths. It was like a horror comedy. I thought it was funny. Maybe it's just a horror movie. A lot of deaths. And they pitched me a few ideas. I pick one and we go from there. And it was a lot of fun. I actually would really like to do that again soon. And I hope, I just hope their thing starts to blow up. And what was I going to say? If you watch the video on YouTube, I'll have the link to all of the Cinema Improv stuff in the show description. But he did a really good job with like adding like little stick figure animation type of things throughout the whole video, which I haven't watched the full video just because I was driving when I was listening to it and I couldn't watch and drive about halfway through. I was like, oh, he added stuff to it. Cool. And just don't watch videos and drive, guys. So that was a lot of fun. So check that out. It's in the show description. If you're listening, go to the description of the podcast. I have timestamps of when I talk about stuff. If you just want to skip around and not listen to my voice for a full hour. So that was a lot of fun. Before we left for vacation, we left Saturday. A lot of things happened. The first thing that happened, which was Thursday, very crazy day, I met Tim. What is his name on Twitter? Jesus Christ. I have never been able to pronounce it. I've just called him Tim. He's been watching and listening and commenting and saying stuff for many years. I want to say close to like 7 years. What even is his Twitter name? It's something with an F. Let me see. He DM'd me on Instagram the other day. I'll find it. Firehawk. There we go. Firehawk. At least on Instagram, Brooklyn Baller 101. On YouTube, he has a bunch of YouTube channels. Really cool dude. And it was great to finally meet him. I thought I had a cool beard a year or so ago. He has like one of the most badass beards I've ever seen. So it was really cool seeing him and meeting him and just getting his opinion on Myrtle Beach because he was here on vacation with his fam. And that was a lot of fun. And then that night, met up with my parents and Teresa. Well, Teresa and my parents, I guess. She was there. And we went to, where we go? Red Robin. And we had burgers, and that was fun. And then we saw The Lion King, which I was a little scared for. But the night before we saw Lion King, the new Lion King, the live action, I'm saying with air quotes. And I watched the animation, and it was great. Still great, but it was just good to kind of see. I don't know, because everyone's like, it's going to ruin my childhood. And I watched it. I'm like, my childhood's fine. It's no big deal. And it was really good. Surprisingly good. I had a few issues with it, mostly Beyonce. I just did not understand what she was doing. I think she's very talented. I just think she's just she was not a good Nala, and terrible on Can You Feel the Love Tonight. You could tell all the other actors, for the most part, were like in the same room doing stuff, like Seth Rogen and Billy Eiger. They're like in the same room doing stuff, and same thing with what the heck is his name? Childish Gambino. That's his name, right? Yeah. Crazy. So they were great, and you could just tell like she was in her own little room, and I'm like, Can You Feel the Love Tonight? God, Don Glover was like trying to sing with her, but she was just kind of doing her own thing, and it just didn't feel right like all the other songs felt. But other than that, the animation was amazing. It was like mind blowing what they were doing, and loved it. Teresa cried. My mom cried. My dad said he enjoyed it. Went to the Myrtle Beach Theater with like the fancy reclining seats. So that was fun. And then moved on to Friday, where it was a pre-birthday party because we were going to be gone on my actual birthday. Teresa threw a taco-themed birthday party because I love tacos. And she was going to cook, but I was like, hell no, I would like to cook. So I made 9.5 pounds of carnitas, which is pork. Came out really good. And 3.5 pounds of chicken, and then 1 pound of like this vegetarian, vegan, meatless ground beef for our good friend Shelly, who does not eat meat. So everybody won. They won the birthday. And it was really cool. It was a lot of fun just hanging out with people. And we have a house now instead of just an apartment. And in the apartment, it was a little cramped when we would throw our bashes. I think we only threw like two? No, one party. I think we did a Christmas party. Did one party, and we've had people over and whatever, and it could comfortably hold 4 people, including us in this household. Quite a few more people, so it was fun. And yeah, had just a bunch of fun. And next morning, before I do that, she also made a cake, which was amazing. It was a 2-layered cake. Chocolate cake. In between the layers was like this homemade peanut butter frosting, and then it was chocolate frosting around it with Reese's peanut butter cups on top and chocolate chips. Posted a picture on my Instagram of it. Amazing. It was mind-blowing. Now I know how she feels whenever I'm doing anything, because usually when I'm cooking, she'll come in and ask if I need help, and I'm usually like, no. And she was making the cake, and I was bored. I was supposed to be doing a podcast, but I was just like, eh. And I was like, hey, do you need help? And she just kind of looked at me, and I was like, oh, that's how I look when I'm in the kitchen. So I left, and I don't know what I did in here. I was doing something in here, just kind of leaving her alone to do the cake. And then when it was my birthday, I was cutting the cake, and she was like beyond nervous because she kept thinking she like screwed it all up, which she obviously did not, but she tried to make a cake a little bit ago, and so it didn't come out that well. So she was nervous as hell, and as I was cutting it, she was just kind of staring. I was like, "Oh, this is how I also look when I do the beef Wellingtons every year," and I'm just like losing my mind that they didn't come out good, but then they always do. For now, knock on glass. So that was kind of funny. So maybe I need to like just calm down a bit when I cook. That's what I learned at my taco birthday party, was I need to calm down. Because like it's not fun to watch somebody you love just like losing their mind. Like, oh, I hope this comes out good. And you can't help because they don't want help. Because why I would just mess everything up. I don't bake. I bake once a year on her birthday, and I've been doing decent. So she says. And then everybody left around 9ish, and then we cleaned and then packed, because I don't pack until the last moment. And she was kind of packed, I guess. And we packed, and then the next morning left. So we drove 6.5 hours, I think. No, 7.5. No, yeah, it was like close to 7 hours to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Am I saying that right? Gatlinburg, Tennessee. It's in the mountains. Her parents rented a cabin for us, her brother and his family, her sister and her family. So it was a lot of fun. So it was 2, 4, 6, 8 adults, 5 kids, and a whole lot of fun. And rain and bears. So Like within minutes of getting there were bears, and a few of the adults were outside, and one of the kids, Caitlin, who had a birthday on the late night web show, she was like freaking out because she was inside, and she's like, "Oh, there's bears! Like everybody's gonna get killed." And look, there's one bear. It's fine. So so I was just trying to comfort her. I'm like, "Your mom could kill a bear, obviously." And she like looks at me and she's like, "No, Jared. Most people don't survive bear attacks." And I'm like, "Shit, you're right." What do you say to like a 9-year-old? And she had me. I'm like, you're right. Like she could get killed by a bear right now, but everybody was fine. I'm sure at least one of them was armed if something happened. Can you take down a bear with a handgun? I have no idea, but everybody was fine, and the kids were fine, and yeah, it was fun. What did I make? I made tacos one night. I don't know. Tacos are just easy and fun and great. But there I made like a Jack Daniels pulled pork nacho. I should have did nachos with it. A Jack Daniels pulled pork taco, and then some chicken and ground beef. So that was fun. And jeez, it was nice to just kind of chill and relax. I am not responsible for the venue anymore. So this was like the first time in 2 years where I've just been like, nothing to worry about. All my work stuff was like taken care of. Like I said, I was going to do the podcast. I don't know if I said it. I said it in the first take I did, but I kept coughing. So had to redo it. I was going to do a podcast while we were traveling, and I just made it way too complicated. I only brought my phone and some accessories and my Zoom. So I was going to record it on the Zoom, put on the phone, send the file to the computer in Myrtle Beach and edit it remotely and post it. And I was like, you know what? I'm relaxing. It's just going to be too much trouble. I just didn't feel like it. So the cabin was that? I guess it was a cabin. Had like a pool room with the pool table and a hot tub and stuff. So that was fun. I don't think we didn't use the hot tub, but it was good to know it was just there. The kids were using it. So I guess they had fun. And playing pool with the kids was also fun. They didn't really understand the rules, so they were kind of just making it up. So I lost because they were like, "Oh no, you can't do that." I'm like, that's how you play pool. Okay, whatever. You're 5. You win. I was getting like way too into it. Yeah, so it was a lot of fun, and I was taking some cool pictures on my phone, editing them. I took a really badass picture of like the sunrise. Yeah, it was the sunrise that I posted to the Instagram. And yeah, so Teresa was taking a lot of pictures, taking better pictures than me, which is great. And let's see. Yeah, there it is. Beautiful picture. Loved it. It's actually the wallpaper on my phone now. So if you're ever in the mountains or any in mountain area, figure out which way is east, west, and whatever. And sun rises in the east, sets in the west, I guess. And that you just take some pictures. And yeah, so that was fun. And then one of the days, the days kind of blurred, we drove into Pigeon Forge. Am I saying that right? And met up with Hope Lefevre. Hope. She's Treacherous Hope on Instagram. She used to be FNC Photography, and she changed it because she grew up. And she's been watching for forever. We actually met a few years ago when she was here in Myrtle Beach, and she lives in Tennessee. So her and her friend Preston, look at me remembering names. I have everything of notes with names, like in bold, except Justin's friend. Whoops. Preston, we went mini golfing. It seemed like a good idea at the time, but went to a mini golf place, which was fun, and then it got like super crazy hot out. So that was just insane. And my favorite part of that mini golf experience was Hope. It was her turn, and she like wound up, and I don't know if somebody said something as like a joke, and she just like took a full golf swing, which if you've ever played mini golf, you're not supposed to do. You're just supposed to kind of putt it. It's called putt. And she like tried to go for like 300 yards on like the second hole, and it bounced off a wall and just went somewhere. It probably hit somebody. I hope not, but like it was gone. It went to like another dimension. So that was pretty nuts and funny, but also like severely dangerous, but hilarious. Totally glad she did it. And I'm glad nobody was hurt that we know of. So we also ate at, Big Daddy's Pizza in Pigeon Forge. It was pretty good. Yeah, I liked it. It was a nice little thing. It was a nice thing. Yeah. So that was that. See, why does she do this? Okay, there we go. I was trying to find the picture of it. All right. Anyways, so it was a lot of fun. I wish I could like post pictures while I talk. So mini golf was fun, and then the final day, I think it was the final day, we went to another mini golf place, but you could do mini golf in the dark, like what's it called, neon glow golf in the dark, laser tag, some laser escape room puzzle thing, and some other crazy puzzle thing where we competed. I thought we were going to be on the same team the whole time, but they're like, no, you and Teresa are playing against each other. So I was like, oh. And Teresa played laser tag for the first time. I don't know how this has happened. We've been together almost 4 years. It'll be 4 years next month. And she has not played laser tag with me. And I didn't realize till about like halfway through when she was just like, I looked at her and she was just like pumped. And she's like, this is awesome. And I'm thinking like, this place is cool, but it's nowhere near as cool as especially some of the Myrtle Beach places are like insane for some reason. And then I was like, oh wait, she's never done this before, which would have been terrible if she hated it because I love laser tag and I don't understand why we haven't done it in 4 years, which means I haven't done it in 4 years. Holy hell. So we're going to fix that, especially when summer's over here. We're going to go all the time and practice. And this laser tag thing was every man for himself, or every woman and man for himself. And I don't know, these little kids played dirty. It's a little messed up. There was like the 7-year-old who was like covering his vest and running and crouching really low and then coming up like to about your feet and then like standing straight up and pointing up and shooting you and then crouching down and running away while covering his vest, which is not cool. So I hid and I got him like from afar. I didn't like hit him. And yeah, there was just a lot of people playing, and it was fun. And there was every man for himself, though. But there's no teamwork aspect, so there's no like, I don't know. You couldn't use half your strategies, at least my strategies, because half my strategies rely on like people working together. And I thought Teresa was gonna be on my team, even though it was every man for himself. I thought she was gonna be like, oh hey, I'll hang with you. But no, she just like shot me and ran away. I'm like, cool. So I think there was like maybe 15 people. I came in like 13th, almost last. Not quite last, but pretty much there. And yeah, because my wife betrayed me during our first laser tag game. But we're going to play more, and I will destroy her. That is my plan, and that is love. So then after that, we got in the car Wednesday morning. Got in the car early, like 5 a.m., and drove all the way down to Cocoa Beach. And we stop now. Well, it depends. On like if like long trips, we stop. And because you need to stop for gas, but it was about a 10.5, close to 11-hour drive. And by stop, I mean we stopped to pee, we stopped for gas, we stopped to get like waters. We don't stop to like sit and eat breakfast. No, we don't do that. We eat when we get there. We obviously pick food up. It's not like I don't feed this woman. We grab like food on the way or whatever. So that was fun. So we went to Cocoa Beach where her brother Kevin, who is awesome, he lives there. So we hung out with him for a few days and watched some movies, introduced his roommate to The Room. So that was fun. She actually saw The Disaster Artist, but not The Room, which kind of blew my mind. She's like, The Disaster Artist was amazing. I'm like, that's also amazing. You loved The Disaster Artist, but have never seen The Room. So then she saw The Room, and I'm sure we changed her life, so you're welcome. And then Friday, we got up, drove from there to Disney World, which was amazing. And it was my birthday Friday. Turned 28, and I'm 1 year closer to death. Well, I guess we all are, but like for sure. And because there's no way they're like extending lifespans through like stem cells when I'm around, and by the time they get it, I'm gonna be like 80. And really, do you really want to live forever at 80? No. So that was fun. So I had my birthday in Disney. We were in Hollywood Studios. We had some fast passes for the Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster. So on our honeymoon, Teresa didn't do a lot of the rides. She did Slinky Dog, which is confusing, and like the sit down rides like Pirates and Haunted Mansion and things like that. But she didn't do the Tower of Terror or Rock and Roller Coaster or really any big coaster. She doesn't do, but she did Slinky Dog. Weird. So she loves the Twilight Zone. And I was like, you have to at least go on the Tower of Terror. And she's like, and she hates elevators. Like anytime we're in an elevator, she loses her mind. And one time I jokingly jumped in an elevator, and I'm never doing that again because she got so mad and like freaked out. And that's not cool to do. As I laugh. It's just not. It was fun to do once, not to do again. Like knowing how she'll react is no. So yeah, so I was like, I know you hate elevators, and like falling to your death in an elevator is one of your biggest fears. And this ride is based on the feeling of falling to your death in an elevator. But you should still go on it because you love the Twilight Zone. The theming is amazing. So I was like, let's just go through. Let's just wait online because we had a fast pass for like 2 hours later. But I was like, let's just go now. We'll wait on a short line and right when it opens, and then whatever. Didn't realize the Rock and Roller Coaster was closed, so everybody that was going to the Rock and Roller Coaster went to the Tower of Terror. So the line was about 25, 30 minutes long. So now we're already in line. So she was going from, I could do this, to hell, now I'm not doing this. Let's leave. So I was like, you at least need to see the theming. Go into the lobby, the Tower of Terror, take pictures of the hotel, and go from there. So she's like, okay. So now the family ahead of us has a girl, younger girl, maybe like 15 or 16, who is losing her mind. She does not want to go on the ride. And the mom's like, oh, well, she's just going to do the pre-show. And when we get on, she's going to leave through the exit. I'm like, what? No. So these people are right ahead of us. So now the girl's like telling Teresa, like, yay, now I won't be alone when I leave. And I'm like, no, this... She had the option to leave, but I figured if there's somebody ahead of you leaving, you're just going to leave with them. You're not going to, like, want to do it. So we did the pre-show. Pre-show's awesome. Love it. And walking through the line, and Teresa at that point said she was not doing it, and then switched to like, all right, I guess I'll try and do it. And right at that point, they were loading a car, and they were like, we need two. So there's maybe 30 people out of us. Nobody was in a party of two except us. So I raised our hand and started like shoving her through the crowd, and got on the ride, and that was it. So as soon as the dude, like, we put seatbelts on, she was kind of freaking out. He shut the door and the elevator doors closed. I was a happy person. I was flipping out. I'm like, she is going to love it. It's going to be great. And she hated it. No, I'm just kidding. She liked it. Because the whole time she's like, does it drop? I'm like, yeah, it drops, but it doesn't feel like you're falling. And the whole time I'm thinking like your ass comes off the seat. It's it feels more intense than a free fall. But if I said that, it's just, she's not going to go on it. But she did go on it. She was freaking out, and she liked it. She said she would do it again. And then, but when she did it, she like came off the ride and she's like shaking. And I was like, you feel all that adrenaline? She's like, yep, I don't like this feeling. I'm like, okay, because maybe I'm just a psycho. Because I like get off of rides and I'm like pumped and I'm like laughing the whole time. Even when I'm on rides by myself, I'm just like laughing the whole time, just because it's amazing and it's fun. So we did similar rides, not rides, but did like the Little Mermaid show and things like that, Hollywood Studios. Went back to the room, checked in. We stayed at Art Animation in the Little Mermaid room. Amazing. And yeah, and then we went, where did we go? Oh, and then we went to Ohana, which is an amazing all-you-can-eat buffet at the Polynesian in Disney. We did Ohana breakfast on our honeymoon. We also did dinner shortly before the honeymoon when we were there for the evacuation with my mom and my cousin Taylor. But the dinner is where it's at. There are no characters at this Ohana dinner, but it's amazing. It's like all you can eat shrimp and steak and chicken and wings and pot stickers and noodles. And the noodles are the bomb. I'm not a big fan of noodles, but they are the bomb. And it's great. And then the dessert is awesome. It's like a banana bread pudding. I usually don't like banana anything or pudding anything, but the banana bread pudding with vanilla ice cream and caramel is the bomb. And that was awesome. And then we went back to the room and Teresa got me a cake. We did a cake decorating class on our honeymoon where you decorate like a Mickey cake from Amarettas in Disney Springs. And she got me a cake from there. and it was also amazing. So, had 2 cakes for my birthday, which was great. So then the next day was Magic Kingdom, and we killed Magic Kingdom. I don't know what we were doing, but we killed it. We got there, not right when it opened, but close to when it opened. And then we did Haunted Mansion, Tower of Terror, and probably no order, Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin. We did The Little Mermaid, and then Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Because she did, a few years ago, with her sister, she did the Runaway Train, or Big Thunder Mountain. And I was like, this is like a baby Big Thunder Mountain, but cooler. So she did that. She liked that. And, and also in the Hollywood Studios at night, the Rock and Roller Coaster was open. And I think after dinner, we went back to Hollywood Studios before it closed. I went on the Tower of Terror, and it was fun. A lot of fun. I laughed like a maniac the whole time. Teresa did not do it with me because we just ate, and she just wasn't. She did the Tower of Terror, so I was like, "You're fine. You're done for the day, unless you want to go on it." And she was like, "Nah, maybe next time." So if there is a next time, if we're able to get there before they close it, because I feel like they're going to close it soon and redo it because the Aerosmith stuff is getting a little old, honestly. No, I don't want them to, but they're going to change it probably to like The Incredibles or something to go on it again. And she said she would definitely do Tower of Terror again. So, ha! Slowly turning her into a ride person. So then, Magic Kingdom. Oh, we also did Splash Mountain because there was like no wait on Splash Mountain. I was like, you have to do it. The drop's not that bad. It's a boring ride, and the drop's pretty fun. And she's like staring at me. And like, it's a 5-minute wait. Let's just go. So we went and did it, and she liked it. I don't know if she'd do it again, but she got soaked, and I got like drenched. We were towards the back, second row from the back, but I guess it really just depends on where you're at. The people ahead of us didn't get that wet, and the people behind us were like drowning. So that was fun. My favorite thing to do on any ride in Disney, it was pissing everybody off behind me. No, in front of us, but the people behind us thought it was funny. Was on Splash Mountain anytime because there's like a few baby drops, like teeny tiny drops. I had to raise my hands and say, "Here we go." Then just start laughing. And when it was time for the big drop, I kept my mouth shut because you kind of know when it's the big drop. So I just kind of kept my mouth shut. But all the baby drops, some people were laughing, some people were like, "This dude's a moron." And yeah, so we did all of that. All of that we did before noon. It's like 11:30. We knocked out like half the park. And we did Mickey's Filler Magic, which is something you need to do when you're in Magic Kingdom. If you like Disney, do it. It's like my favorite thing there. So then we left, went back to the room, went to the pool because it's just too hot. Then we went back at night and did Haunted Mansion again, Pirates of the Caribbean again, and then Hall of Presidents, which is cool because I forget. We usually do Hall of Presidents like when I go and as a kid with my family and stuff, so I've seen it so many times, and to me it's like that's the history of the presidents, okay? But Teresa's like, "I've never seen it." I'm like, "Oh, well then you need to see it." And seeing it now, I was like, "Oh, this is awesome." And we were leaving, and this lady was like, "It was all really good except for that last part with Trump." And I'm like, he's the current president. They show all the precedents. You just kind of want them to skip him. It's okay to not like him. Most people don't like him. But it was just like, what did you expect? They were just going to be like, this is our current president. Anyways, the Hall of Presidents like a 25-minute show where they just kind of go through all the presidents in history. So you kind of know where it's going towards the end there as they get to like Clinton and they get to Bush and Obama, and you kind of assume after that is going to be Trump, and it is. So it's just very confusing. The lady's reaction, like, just close your eyes or just, I don't know, block it out. I don't know. It was very confusing. So do Hall of Presidents, but I guess a hashtag trigger warning. There is a animatronic doll. I don't know if they're dolls. Animatronic robot. Saying a robot's weird. An animatronic figure of Trump, who is the current president at the time of recording this, unless he gets impeached in the next hour, which would be bananas. Then they'd have to redo the whole ride. I'd actually would like to see him get impeached just to see what they do with the Hall of Presidents, and to bring that lady back and be like, here you go, you can enjoy this now. So then, what did we do? I feel like we did more. We did Winnie the Pooh. I don't know. We did so much in Magic Kingdom. Did I already say Buzz Lightyear? Space Ranger spin, and then we saw the Happily Ever After fireworks, which we did not see on the honeymoon because we were at Magic Kingdom. We did the Not So Scary Halloween party, so we had the Halloween fireworks. So, the Happily Ever After fireworks blew my mind. Like, it just blew my mind for the entire 22 minutes or however long it is. Amazing. Crazy. If you don't know what it is and you're going, just don't even look it up on YouTube or anything. Just be there, get a good spot, make sure you can see the whole castle in the front. Don't go to the back. Please don't. Because there's some cool stuff they do at the front of the castle that you kind of need to see. So just make sure you get a good view of the castle, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. We somehow ended up in like an amazing spot. We were going to go all the way in the back. Then cast members were like yelling. They were like, no, go over here. I'm like, okay. They're like, fill the gaps. So we filled the gaps and went like right up to the castle where you could see everything. And they're like, stand right here. I'm like, okay, cool. That was weird, giving us a better spot in a slightly angry and stressed tone. And I don't know, we got there like at 5:08, not 5:08, 9:08, and it starts at 9:15. So a lot of people were there waiting, and we kind of cut a bunch of people. Not cut, just their system was interesting. I guess it used to be where you could just stand wherever you want, but now when you go to watch the fireworks, they kind of start delegating people, and they have sections open, and then one section fills, and then they move people to the next section, and then you kind of start filling sections. And I guess when we got there, they were deciding to fill more people up towards the center, so we got cattled there, or herded. Cattled. We got herded. Or herd I? We got herded. Herd. We got herd into a really good area. Fireworks were amazing. Next day, final day, Epcot day. And it was hot. It was so damn hot. We did, what did we do? We did Frozen Ever After ride. Amazing. And that was really it. Oh, we did Nemo, which is okay. It's okay. Don't waste your time with Nemo. Teresa's never done it, so I was like, oh, we'll do Nemo. And I don't know why we didn't do it the last time we were there. Just, I guess, because it's an all right ride. And I really wasn't in the mood for it. Was just so hot I wasn't in the mood for rides. Like there's Soarin' and Test Track that I was going to do, but I was just like, just not feeling it. I'm not a big fan of the new Test Track anyway. So I asked Teresa, I was like, you feel like doing it? And she's like, not really. I'm like, okay, me neither. So definitely not doing it. But even if she was like, I kind of want to do it, I'd be like, no, probably not. She'd have to make me. That's mean. So it was super hot. The other days were fine, and this day was super hot. So we pretty much went to Epcot to see the Illuminations fireworks that end September 30th. And I've been seeing that show since it premiered when I was a small child, and I love it. So we did not see it on our honeymoon because we were just like exhausted during Epcot day. And so we were just like, oh, well, we go this time, we'll see him again. Spoiler, if you haven't seen either and you're going before September, see this before Happily Ever After. See Illuminations first if you can, because Illuminations is great, but compared to Happily Ever After, it is like nothing. They're bringing in a new show, which I'm sure is going to be just as good, but it started downpouring. The fireworks were at 9. At like 8:15, we get to a spot that I read online was like the best spot for fireworks, which is between the UK and France on the bridge. So we were there, and it just started pouring, like monsooning, and we didn't have umbrellas or ponchos or anything, so we were there on the bridge with like this other family who was also going to see it for the last time. So they were pumped, and then we ended up bailing and going to like this area next to the fish and chips in the UK, just like telephone booths and stuff, and hid out with a bunch of people until the rain kind of slowed, and then we ran back on the bridge before it got too crowded. But I thought they cancel fireworks in Disney, but apparently they don't. They always set the fireworks off unless it's like a crazy storm, because I guess they set them and they're armed, so they have to shoot them off. So online was saying if it's like crazy storms, they might not do the full illumination show, they'll just do the fireworks. But they kept saying it's delayed, it's delayed, it's delayed. Then maybe around 9:50, they said it was going to start in 10 minutes, and then at 10:05, they said it was starting in 5 minutes, and then it started. So it was about an hour late, and it was fine. Loved it. It's nice to see it one last time. And yeah. So that was the trip, and then we drove home Monday. I recouped Tuesday, 7.5 hour drive. That was the other thing too. From Gallenberg to Cocoa Beach, 10.5 hour something was just, ugh. It was just a brutal drive. The last hour and a half was just insane. Not insane, but just like tough. And yeah, but Teresa did a great job at like keeping me awake. So. Just reading something, by the way. All right, so then, drove it was close to like 8 hours home. Got back to Myrtle Beach. Missed it. We had a heat wave the week before we left, and apparently the whole time we were gone, it was like fine, and now there's another heat wave. So, heat waves suck. But it was fun. Anyways, got an interesting text that I was going to go through, and then we will wrap this up. That's what I've been doing the last 10 days, and I'm going to be redoing this whole podcast. We need to find all my little segment intros and things like that. So, here we go. He said, "Hey, I have a question/story for the next podcast. I just wanted to get your insight on something. First, the story. So I was in Myrtle Beach this past week. Great meeting you, by the way. So this is Tim. When I was doing some exploring on the boardwalk shopping centers, I noticed a couple places that sold band shirts. As a metalhead, I absolutely love finding places that sell band shirts outside of Hot Topic, thrift stores, venues, etc. I noticed in one store at Barefoot Landing how all the shirts were on display, but they didn't have a price on them. I asked an employee, and she said they were all $29.99. Kind of pricey, so I'm on vacation, so it might be worth it. I ended up picking up a Slipknot shirt. I thought it looked awesome. I was happy with my selection. Then they tried to upsell me and offer me a discount. If you buy one more, you'll get 25% off on the other shirt. Something to that effect. I decided against it since I know how some of these stores love to trick unsuspecting tourists into spending more money than they actually intend to. I paid for the shirt and then went on my way. I then came across another store on the boardwalk, and I was just looking around, saw an Ozzy shirt I like and wanted to get that, and he's actually wearing it right now. Another employee tried to do the upselling discount thing again, and I declined it again. Had to use my card to pay since I was out of cash. The cashier said there was like $1 fee for cards. I was like, okay, that's cool. Got the shirt, and I was on my way. I was just wondering, in your opinion, do you think they were trying to pull a fast one on me? Were they trying to overcharge me on a couple of t-shirts? Has anyone tried this on you? I know Hot Topic does sales like this frequently, but something about a store on a boardwalk doing it seems sketchy. Thanks for taking the time to read this. Well, Tim, it's iffy, and we're going to do some math in a minute. But the boardwalks and a lot of these stores in Myrtle Beach, they need to make all of their money this summer. So from like May to September is when they make their money, so, to the point where a lot of stores and restaurants don't even open from October till like March. They're just closed off season, just not worth for them to run it. So they make a lot of their money in the summer from tourists. So that's how they operate. So I don't think they were trying to pull a fast one on you, but they were definitely upselling you. They weren't like scamming you or like tricking you. They were just definitely trying to upsell because if they're selling you a shirt for $30, more than likely they are buying the shirts for $10 or less. I would say probably around $8. So if you're getting 25% off a shirt, which would be, let's just say $30 and stuff, $29. So times 0.25, you get $7.50 off. So 30 minus 7.5. So you're paying $22 for the shirt, for the second shirt, which they're still getting for $8 to $10. So they're still doubling their money on that purchase, which is what you're kind of supposed to do when you sell stuff. But you're right, they would be making you spend more money than you intend. And that's kind of the point because they have a lot of merch and they don't want it sitting there. They just want to move as much as possible. So they'd rather you spend $52 than just $30. Because the profit they're going to make on that is so $52.50. Oops. Minus let's just say highball it and say $12. Minus 12, minus 12. So they still made $28 if they were getting the shirts at $12 each, which I think they're getting them for a little bit less. But they are licensed and banned, so who knows? But I would say between $8 to $10 is what they're doing. But they would still be making $28 as opposed to not. Then just 30 minus 12. So yeah, 18. So they'd be making an extra like $10 off of you for buying the second shirt, and they're moving more product. So a lot of these places get shirts in all the time and they don't want inventory sitting around, so they just want to get rid of it. So you just have to remember, like, if you're going to buy something, I get a lot of places need to make money, but you just need to like just realize how much of your money is just for the product and how much of the money is just straight up profit. And a very good example is like Bath and Body Works. Teresa gets pissed at me, but she loves buying the candles from Bath and Body Works, and they're like $24 for like the 3-wick candle. But if you wait when they're doing a sale, they're buy one get one free, so you're essentially saving half off, or they do like really crazy sales, and then that's when you buy them because they're still making money. You're just spending less, and they're making way more because they're doing a sale and they're moving a lot of volume, so they're still making a lot more money. So, like, it sounds stupid. So if you're doing a sale, so like the buy one get one free thing, if Teresa's buying some candles, she might only buy 2 candles because that's like $50. But if they're doing the sale where it's buy one get one free, she might spend like $60-$70 on stuff, get way more for her money, and they still make money. So everybody kind of wins. And speaking of them, they were doing a sale over the week. They're like, we've never done this before. This is the first time ever we're doing it. That's how they teased this sale. So I was like, oh, cool. It's going to be awesome. And it was buy 2, get 2 free. Which, if you're like, whoa, that sounds great, it's not. They do buy one, get one frees like 4 times a year. So buying 2, get 2 free, you just need to spend more money. It's a higher entry price to get anything for free. That just blows my mind. Blows my mind. Hate it. Hate that they did that. And they were getting roasted in the Facebook comments, as they should. But they still did the sale. I'm sure they made some money. And then they tried to throw in like $10 off 30 or something. So you just have to see, especially when you see these products online when you're running a store. As somebody who's setting up an online e-commerce store, and I've done it for several companies, I always recommend setting a price higher and then putting it, quote, on sale for something that you know, it's on sale for, it's supposed to be $50, but it's on sale for 40 when they're like, just sell it for 40. Now it looks like people are getting a deal. And it just, again, with products online and things like that, you just have to see if they're doing something that's on sale, they're still going to be making money from it. Very rarely are they losing money off of a sale unless like they're just so desperate to clear out product. And I've seen that sometimes with products that are generational. So if you're buying, I don't know, like a freaking smart home something, like smart lights, and they come out with a new generation, they'll probably try and get rid of the first generation for kind of cheap just to get people hooked in on it. But they're still making something. And even at that point, they're making something rather than nothing. So you just have to be a little smart about it. So like the companies set the price, and when they're doing sales, they're figuring all that out. So always look for coupons. Any store you're on or website or whatever, just Google such and such coupon, email them. I like to put stuff in my cart and leave it for a minute. Then you go to close out of it, and they're like, wait, enter your email and you get a 10% discount. Cool. And you just save 10%. So I've set up a lot of websites, e-commerce sites. So I've done all of that for companies. And I'm like, this definitely works. So when I'm shopping, I try and see if they're doing any of that stuff. If other companies are. So, or if you just leave certain things in the cart, I know like Newegg does it, and Crutchfield, leave things in your cart. If you have an account with them, they'll email you and be like, hey, you had something in your cart. If you want to buy it, here's 20% off. And you're like, cool. So the only one who doesn't do that is Amazon, because they don't care. They don't care about how much money they make. So that would be that. Speaking of that, just got an email from them. A package is on the way. Woo! Thanks. So yeah, it's been a crazy, not crazy, it's been a very fun, relaxing 10 days. It was good to be home, good to get home, do some laundry, and just kind of chill. The worst part, though, if you're ever going on vacation for a little bit, buy like frozen pizza or something and just throw it in the freezer for when you get home. Because we got home and we had nothing. We had nothing in the fridge. And I was like, damn, I need to go to the store. So we ended up ordering pizza, but it was just like, God, there's nothing in here. Which I guess is good because food didn't go bad. But just have some stuff in the freezer so you can eat when you get home or stop before you get home. I was just so desperate to get home. In the last hour, there's like nothing around. And, you don't stop anywhere. So, that's been nuts. It's been nuts. But anyways, this has been fun. Check out Cinema Improv, episode 2 that I did with them. It's called A Sale to Die For. And it was a lot of fun. And if you haven't already, if you're just listening to this on YouTube or Spotify or whatever, subscribe. That way, when new episodes come out every week, you get alerted, notified, and you can stay on top of this. Keep those stats up. So that'll be that. Next week, there'll be some I don't know, some segments. There'll be some commercial breaks, and there'll be some good old fun. But yeah, tweet me at McMullinJared, MCMULLINJARED. How many L's did I say? It's MCMULLINJARED. Check that. Why is Aubrey Plaza trending? What did she do? That was so relatable and so me. Guess her character died in a show, I guess. I don't know. I don't care. Anyways, so let's wrap this thing up. Thank you guys for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed this because I enjoyed doing it. And oh yeah, and if you want to if you want to if you want to send any texts or voicemails for me to read on the podcast, send a texty poo or a voicemail poo to 843-593-0085. That is 843-593-0085. I will say it one more time, 843-593-0085. I sound so out of breath. Anyways, let's rock and roll. Thank you guys for... the hell does that even mean? Thank you guys for listening, and I will see you next week.